Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of All About Cars. We hope you liked our last two episodes about upcoming cars, but as of now, we're back to answering your questions about which is the best car for you. But before we go ahead, make sure you hit that like button, share the video and subscribe to the CarWale channel. Alright, let's start with the questions and we begin with our Instagram questions first. Jitesh wants to know which is the best compact SUV in petrol between the XUV300, the Maruti Suzuki Brezza, the Ford EcoSport Titanium or the Nexon XE Plus. Now Jitesh, between the choices you've narrowed down, the XUV300 is a very good option. It's got a very good petrol engine and so does the Brezza. But again, there are a lot of factors to consider when you're choosing so many options. We need to know what is your priority. Is it space? Is it driving pleasure? Is it a comfortable ride? Because all these cars excel a little better in each of those parameters. But if you're looking at a best overall product, I think you can either look at the Mahindra XUV300 or you can look at the Maruti Suzuki Brezza. Our next question comes from Sunil and he wants to know which car should he select between the Jeep Compass, the Citroen Aircross or the upcoming XUV500. Now Sunil, between these three cars, two of the cars that you've mentioned are yet to make it into the market. Citroen is almost here. In fact, we're driving the car very soon and we'll have the review out pretty soon as well. But even the XUV500 for that matter, we've seen plenty of spy shots. The car is almost on the verge of its launch. So I think between those two, we can give you a perfect answer once we drive those. But even the Jeep Compass, they've just launched the facelifted Jeep Compass. We've already driven it and it's a very good choice to make in case you cannot wait. So if you want to buy a car right now, we suggest you can look at the Jeep Compass or you wait for our reviews for the upcoming XUV500 or the Citroen Aircross. Our next question comes from Prabhakaran and he wants to buy an MPV and he wants to choose between the Kia Carnival and the Toyota Innova Crysta, and his basic needs are space and safety. Now Prabhakaran, as far as space is concerned, the Kia Carnival is clearly the bigger MPV. It's got plenty of space, it's got very flexible seating options. So if space and seating is your priority, you can look at the Kia Carnival. As far as safety is concerned, both are pretty much on par. The Innova Crysta comes with 7 airbags and the Kia Carnival comes with 6 airbags, but they've got pretty much else covered. You've got ABS, you've got EBD, so they're as safe as it gets. So again, if you're looking at space, which is a priority for you, then the Kia Carnival can be your next MPV. Our next question comes from Jay Soni and he wants to choose between a Kia Sonet GTX diesel automatic or the Hyundai Venue SX Plus DCT. Now Jay, we understand you need an automatic and you're trying to choose between a diesel automatic and a petrol automatic. Now both these cars are pretty capable, they're very good cars to drive, but it all comes down to your running. In case your running is over 2000 kilometers in a month, we suggest you go for the Kia Sonet Diesel Automatic. But if it's lesser than 2000 kilometers a month, we suggest you go for the Venue DCT. Again, both these cars are pretty similar when it comes to the chassis, the platform. They're based on the same platform, but we have subtle differences when it comes to the design and the interiors. So again, if your running is over 2000 kilometers a month, you can go for the Diesel Sonet, or if it's lesser, you can look at the Hyundai Venue. We now move on to our Facebook questions, and our first question is from Anubhav, and he wants to know if the Toyota Fortuner 4x4 is faster than the Legender 4x2. Now Anubhav, both these cars, the Fortuner 4x4 and the Legender 4x2, are powered by exactly the same engine. They have exactly the same power figures and torque figures. So when it comes to performance, they're pretty much on par. But with a 4x4, the added advantage is you can explore uncharted territory and you don't have to worry about getting stuck. But when it comes to being faster, both are going to be exactly the same. Like I mentioned, exactly the same performance with the same engine and specs. So no, the 4x4 isn't faster than a 4x2. Our next question is from Milind and he wants to know which would be the best pick between the Tata Safari and the MG Hector Plus. and he wants to buy a diesel engine. He wants to know which has the least maintenance cost, better resale value, comfort, driving experience and features. Now Milind, between both these cars, we suggest looking at the Tata Safari only because the Tata Safari diesel comes with an automatic option. Now the Hector does get a diesel engine, but there is no automatic as of now. So if you're looking at an automatic option, we suggest you look at the Tata Safari. But if you're looking at a manual, it's a very close call. So we suggest you drive both these cars and take a call which one suits your driving better. Our next question comes from Mayur, and he says that his budget is between 7.5 to 8 lakhs and he wants to buy a compact SUV, and he wants to know which one should we suggest. He's considering the Nissan Magnite and his preferences are safety, looks and comfort. Mayur, with a budget of 7.5 to 8 lakhs, we think the Magnite fits your budget and needs perfectly. It's safe, it's got a 4-star rating in the ASEAN NCAP ratings, and it's got a very nice engine in the form of that 1-liter turbo, and you get an automatic option in the form of that CVT gearbox. So we think between that budget of yours, the Nissan Magnite makes for an ideal choice. Our next question comes from Dipankar, and he wants to know what are the negative issues in using aftermarket oil filters in Hyundai cars. Now Dipankar, when it comes to aftermarket oil filters, you need to make sure that it matches the exact needs of the specific Hyundai model. Now, as long as it meets the requirements, we don't think there should be an issue. But in case it doesn't, it could lead to severe engine problems. We suggest you stick to Hyundai oil filters because it's a no-brainer and it's made specifically for your Hyundai model, and we're sure that it won't cause any problems, which is a risk with aftermarket oil filters. Our next question comes from Suraj, and Suraj says that he has a budget of 7.5 lakhs on road and he can't make a decision between an SUV or a sedan. He says that they're a family of 3 and this is going to be his primary car. So Suraj, between a sedan and an SUV, I think it's a very personal decision according to me. So if you like to drive, if you like your boot space more, we think you should look at the sedan. And when it comes to sedans, we'd suggest the Honda Amaze. It's a very nice car. It's got a very fuel efficient and smooth petrol engine, and it's got a humongous boot. So for a family of 3 and the added boot space, it makes for a very good choice. Now when it comes to SUVs, in your budget, we would suggest the Nissan Magnite. Again, it drives very well thanks to that turbo petrol engine. It's got enough space for a family of 3, and you don't have to worry about potholes when you drive an SUV. So again, like I said, if you're looking at a sedan, you can look at the Honda Amaze, or if you want an SUV, you can look at the Nissan Magnite. We now move on to our Twitter questions, and Nikhil asks us to suggest a best SUV under 10 lakhs on road. Now Nikhil, there aren't too many options for an SUV under 10 lakhs, but we suggest you look at the Nissan Magnite or the upcoming Renault Kiger. Now both these SUVs are based on the same platform, but still very different cars. So the Renault Kiger is yet to be launched, but we expect pricing to be on par with the Nissan Magnite. And the Nissan Magnite on its own is also a very good SUV. It's got a fantastic petrol engine. It's got a very nice CVT gearbox. So at 10 lakhs on road, we suggest you look at either of these options. Our next question comes from Bharat, and he wants to know between a 5th generation Honda City CVT and the Kia Sonet DCT, which car has low cost of maintenance and better build quality. Now Bharat, between the Honda City and the Kia Sonet, build quality and low maintenance are pretty much on par. Both these cars are built very well, they're safe. The only difference is Honda has a CVT gearbox which does have a slight rubber band effect, and the Kia Sonet gets a twin clutch DCT gearbox which is quicker of the two and also might end up being more efficient of the two. So if you're looking at a sportier driving experience, you can look at the Kia Sonet DCT, but if you want to buy a sedan, there is no problem in choosing the Honda City CVT. We now move on to our YouTube questions, and our first question comes from Bandi Sangma, and Bandi wants to know whether the new Swift facelift will come with the Dzire's petrol engine. Now Bandi, the Dzire comes with a dual jet 1.2 litre petrol engine, whereas the Swift does not. But we think with the facelift, Maruti might get that dual jet engine with the Swift, because the dual jet does promise better efficiency and slightly better performance as well. So yes, there are chances that the Swift might get the Desire's dual jet engine. Our next question comes from AK, and AK is deciding to buy a Tata Altroz, but he's new to driving, so he wants to know whether buying the Tata Altroz Turbo will be a little too much for him, and should he buy the naturally aspirated engine. But he also says that once he gets confident in driving, would the turbo variant make more sense? He also says, he also wants to know rather is the vehicle scrappage policy. Will it bring down prices for new cars, and should we hold on to the buying decision for now or not? Now AK, when it comes to buying the Tata Altroz, the Tata Altroz Turbo variant, which we drove recently, you can check out the video on our YouTube channel. Now it's a very friendly car, even though it makes almost 100 plus bhp. So even if you're new to driving, we don't think there should be any issue with you handling the Tata Altroz. The naturally aspirated engine, on the other hand, is a little underpowered, and like you mentioned, once you get good with driving, the added power in the Altroz Turbo will just make driving even more enjoyable. So between the naturally aspirated and the turbo variant, we definitely suggest to buy the Altroz Turbo. Now coming to your second question about the vehicle scrappage policy reducing prices of new cars, we don't think that's going to happen, but it will definitely boost the sales of new cars because of older cars getting scrapped. So if you're planning to buy a car, you can buy it right now, because we don't see any changes in prices happening. Our next question comes from Dheeraj A, and he is considering two cars, the Kia Sonet IMT or the Nexon AMT. Now he wants to know if the stiff suspension of the Sonet takes a toll on ride comfort or not, and also the AMT gearbox in the Nexon, does it affect the driving pleasure of the Nexon? Now Dheeraj, this is a bit of catch-22 situation. Now the Kia Sonet does ride stiffer than some of its rivals. So if the roads get really bad, yes, it does upset the Sonet and it can get a little uncomfortable. But there's a solution for that. You can always reduce the air pressure a little, and it does make the ride quality a little better. But moving on to the Nexon, the AMT again, it is kind of laggy because it's an AMT gearbox. So between these two, we suggest the IMT as the better choice. So again, if you're looking at driving pleasure, we suggest you look at the Kia Sonet. But if you want a better ride quality, we suggest you compromise a little on the gearbox and go for the Nexon. Our next question comes from Sri Ramulu, and he wants to know more about the Nissan Magnite suspension and body roll. Well, answering your question, you can take a look at our Nissan Magnite's review. We've extensively covered its ride quality. But to give you an answer in short, the ride quality is a bit on the stiffer side, but it's not uncomfortable. And thanks to that stiff ride quality, it doesn't have too much body roll either. So it's got safe, neutral handling. So if you're looking at the Nissan Magnite, I think it's a safe choice. That was it for this week's All About Cars. We hope we could help you with your buying decisions. To help us make more of these videos, do make sure you like, share and comment on the videos on our YouTube channel.